Would you like some company in your kitchen? Someone you could chat to, high five when you have a success, ask those niggling questions and bounce ideas off. The Ancestral Kitchen Podcast community has all this and more. We have a non-social media forum where we question, share knowledge, run ideas past each other and learn together. Once a month we get together live and chat all the things ancestral in the kitchen. There are extra private podcasts. Get more of Andrea and me talking intimately to keep you company. And there are many helpful, inspiring downloads. Come and feel part of something, reveling in a community that cares about the same things that you do. There are 5 levels of involvement to choose from, depending on your budget, and every penny that you pledge goes to helping Andrea and me to continue this work, supporting everyone else who wants to cook this way, changing the world one plate at a time. Ancestral Kitchen Podcast is 5 years old. A birthday that, when we started this adventure in late 2020, we could never have imagined. In this episode, we will finally take you inside the podcast. You'll hear what goes on behind the mic, including plenty of the disasters we've had. We'll share with you 3 exciting announcements about how you can get more Ancestral Kitchen Podcast in your life. We'll also go over all the ways we can support you, because we've amassed a lot more than just the podcast episodes. We'll talk about what's happened in our own lives in the last 5 years. And finally, we'll share a few things we think you'd never guess.
Welcome to the Ancestral Kitchen Podcast.
I'm Alison, a European town dweller living in England.
And I'm Andrea, living on a family farm in Northwest Washington State, USA.
Pull up a chair at the table and join us as we talk about eating, cooking, and living with ancestral food wisdom in a modern world kitchen.
Hello, Alison. How are you today?
I'm good, Andrea. How are you?
I'm also well. I ate breakfast, which is nice. So
It was good.
it was. I'm going to start, though, by asking
Okay.
if you ate.
Go on. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my food first?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, my food was risotto.
Ooh.
So I tried, because I knew we were recording on a Friday, which is not usual for us. And Fridays I usually try to, if possible, just corner a little bit of time for myself to kind of not be going at it all the time. And so this morning I thought, you know what, I'm going to ignore the things that need doing, and I'm going to do some crafty things, which I did. I made myself a pair of earrings, which you know, with the rooster feathers from the rooster that we dispatched at Nicole's. And I've got to put a picture of them on Discord. And Nicole said, wow, they're lovely. So I thought, you know what, I'll try and make her a pair. I'm not any expert earring maker at all, but I tried to this morning start to make a pair of earrings for her. And I did a little bit of art. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to make risotto. I've got enough time. So I made a risotto with some chicken that was off a carcass and I put in the freezer previously. It's kind of like saying this is for a risotto. Mm-hmm. And because it's the end of the week, we don't really have much food left because we're going to the market tomorrow morning. So I didn't have any greens to put in it. We've run out of greens. So I put leeks in and a bit of celery that I had to try and get a bit more kind of body. Then the arborio rice and the end of a packet of frozen peas to give it a bit more kind of colour. Mm-hmm. And then I had 2 types of stock. One was a chicken and the other one was a pig trotter stock that I made last week, because we made faggots last week, which are an English kind of like scrapple in balls covered in cool fat. Okay. And served with a pig trotter gravy, which has got tons of onions in it. And so from our farmer, Albert, last week I got some pig trotters and made a lovely stock with them. So we had sort of half chicken, half pork stock in the risotto, and then some tarragon, the chicken that was left over, and some garlic salt, which Amelia a supporter who's just over the border in Wales made, and some white pepper, which is my new craze, sort of maybe taking over from Nigella, possibly.
What?
Um,
Dethroned
no,
Nigella?
exactly. Exactly. And then I finished it with some cheddar that was actually from cheddar, which
Oh,
is
wow.
probably quite exciting for you over the other side of the Atlantic,
No
being
kidding.
a fan of cheddar, actually from cheddar, aged in the caves at Wookey Hole, which is like, there's lots of stalactites and things in there. You had a little bit of that on the top. So delicious. That was a long explanation of quite a simple dinner made from a chicken carcass and a bit of rice and whatever was left in the fridge.
Do you ever think,
But it's
Alison,
very good.
nothing really is simple? Like if I just made
No,
that's
true.
made a little broth with a little veg, that I guess on the face of it is simple, but then when I start talking about the chicken, that chicken, how we raised that chicken, all the thoughts that went behind the food that we procured for that chicken,
Yeah.
like it's not so simple after all.
No.
It's
Yeah, I agree.
complex
I
and
mean, I
beautiful.
think it's simple, but the two different broths from different animals procured at different times and frozen. And then, the people who grew the veg for me and
Yeah.
the rice that
Walking to the
probably
market
comes
to
from
get it.
Italy,
Yeah.
walking to the market. Yeah, the cheese, which had come from cheddar, and I kind of made a point of getting that one. It is not simple,
Yeah.
but hopefully, when I present it at the table and everyone enjoys it and says this is wonderful, it kind of gives a semblance of simplicity because it's just a bowl with some nice comfort food in.
Well, it's because the most basic things are so comforting and they're the best for us, all these health problems, and really what you need to be doing is hydrating. It's like, what?
Yeah. Stop buying supplements.
Yeah, the simple
Exactly.
is the focus. I had
absolutely.
I suppose, simple breakfast also, but also not simple. I made myself a coffee latte. I don't know what you call it, like where you froth milk and put it into black coffee.
A shot. Just as you put it into a single shot.
I didn't make an espresso shot. I just
Okay.
took some of the black coffee that I made for Gary and took like a half a cup of coffee and a half a cup of milk.
Okay, that's kind of, I don't know what we'd call that because, so a latte would be a shot of espresso with milk on top of it, which is sometimes frothed, but not much frothed. Whereas a cappuccino is seriously frothed. You get your bit on the top.
I love
that's really, really, really
That's
fluffy.
like my favorite drink. So it's kind of going for that, but I didn't have espresso. So,
yeah.
Anywho's, I had that, and I had boiled eggs. I've been boiling eggs, trying now to boil eggs weekly. So that involves when we collect the eggs, then I have to have a certain percentage that goes to boxes that I basically hide in the back of a cupboard.
I see.
Because if people see them, then they just crack them and use them. But I need them to age for like 10 days before I can boil them. So I have to have this rotation. And so those 3 boxes must be always refilled. So as soon as I boil them, I have to make sure I refill it right away so they can start aging. And so I had boiled eggs, 12 of those, obviously. And I made a flatbread.
12 large.
Yeah, 12 jumbo is my preference. Double yolked, every one of them.
Yeah.
But
12 duck eggs.
Oh, man. I made, for Easter, I was making flatbread to go with our roasted leg of lamb. And so then I wanted to try a gluten-free flatbread, but it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment decision, so I needed something I could come up with really quickly. And I made this recipe online, and I adjusted it a bit so I could make it with lamb tallow and all the things I like. And you make the dough balls and just put them in a container and store them in the fridge, and then you just take one out, and I flatten it in the tortilla press.
Nice.
So there's no, rolling or getting things out. Or it just, it's gluten-free, so it just mashes out really easy. And then I fried it on a pan with just a little lard. So I had this like crisped, hot flatbread. And then
And what flours? What flours are in there, do you remember?
Buckwheat, teff. I don't remember what all. But those are the 2 primary. And tapioca, brown rice, I think. Anyways, then I had that flatbread, and then I had the 12 salted boiled eggs. And then I had made this pate the other day. I saw it in Discord when I said I was making a soup at the same time I was making pate on another counter, and I thought, oh, let me just put some of this miso into the pate. Instantly obsessed. It is so good. It is so good. And then I had leftover.
I've never done that.
No, neither had I. I had leftover breakfast sausage, and I threw that in the pate, so it's just got like these bits of sausage throughout it. I mean, it is beyond of delicious. And so I put that on the flatbread and had it with the coffee. It was pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Sounds really good. So you're ready to go. I mean, like, you're seriously
for like 6
fueled
hours,
for this
Allison.
episode.
I'm
exactly.
Ready. With those 12 eggs,
I'll be wanting my dinner
could go
before
all
that.
day.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Gosh.
So we've got before we read the little review we've got, I wanted to talk about Discord a little bit. Tell us what's happening on Discord, because you are the Discord queen.
Oh my gosh,
what's the latest on Discord?
So much happening on Discord. Forum. How to keep up. Some of the conversations I just poked my head in because there's a lot of them happening, and then some of them I'm posting like miles of text, so it all depends on where the time falls. We're doing a couple different book read-alongs in the group, as you know, and one that just started, some of the ladies started on their own, is reading this book about Charlotte Mason's philosophies. And there's a couple moms that are learning about Charlotte Mason's education philosophies, and so they all kind of voted together to read this book, and I have never read it. So I thought, well, I'll read this book about it with them. And so I've been really enjoying following along and kind of narrating to Gary as we go. There's we have in there a gluten-free baking channel as well as a regular sourdough channel. And both of those are always active. Yeah. The gluten-free one is really helpful because there are, like Katie's in there, and she's been baking gluten-free for a long time. And she knows what she's doing. And I'm in there, and I don't know what I'm doing at all. And then Brittany's in there sharing these amazing book recommendations, and we're just all learning together. So I think it was Kylie who said it does feel kind of isolating sometimes to be gluten-free, or I would actually say that was my experience before whenever I was gluten-free. But this, I'll say, round of being gluten-free as of last October, I have not felt isolated at all. And I think that it's because there's so many of us that are just cheerfully engaging with the ideas behind eating gluten-free. And instead of bemoaning what we don't have, we're celebrating what great things we can find, and that's tons of fun. And then of course there's a garden thread, Alice. I don't know if you've seen that. I know you want a garden, so not to make you feel bad.
So I'm just like,
I look at everybody's gardens, but people are sharing their gardens in there, and if you are a listener and you have a garden, please share the photos or like what you're planting or what you're growing. And this is Western Hemisphere spring, so for our Australian members, it's a different season. But
winter's coming for them.
Different. Anyways,
cool.
So it's always happening. That's really it's fun.
That's really nice to hear. Kind of, some of the highlights. Thank you. Do you want to read the email we received from Laura about the cookbooks?
Yes, this was so kind. Laura sent this email to us. I do love the cookbooks you guys put together, she says. I've made numerous dishes from your past cookbooks and downloads. The Swedish meatballs from the 2025 Christmas hamper were a huge hit at our final holiday gathering last night. I will definitely be making them again.
Excellent.
Yeah, those things are good.
That's really nice.
I'm actually
we will be talking.
I'm going to talk about the hamper later on in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. We're going to be talking about things like the hamper and our downloads later on. So we'll hold that thought for a minute. Before we actually kind of open the door on what we're talking about today, I just wanted to remind all the listeners that between us, we generate 2 newsletters, and both of them come with free downloads. So on the podcast website, ancestralkitchenpodcast.com, you can sign up to our newsletter and receive a download for 20 steps to an ancestral kitchen, which you can then pin up. When I went to Nicole's house, she had hers pinned up on the inside of her pantry door. And then my newsletter, which is at ancestralkitchen.com. The freebie is called Baking with Ancient Grains. It's a 30-page PDF with lots of recipes
really
and
good.
lots of information.
It's very good.
And so, yeah, you can go ahead and get those and also hear from us more regularly. So let's dive into today's topic, Andrea, which is something that is new.
Yeah.
We've never done it before. And frankly, it's about time because, we put this podcast out twice a month and have done now for 5 years.
Happy anniversary.
Incredible. Yeah. Happy anniversary, Andrea.
It's crazy.
We put out our first episodes in March 2021. We started working on it in December 2020 and then finally got the episodes released in March 2021. Now, back in the day, back in December 2020, and the time when we were working on it at the beginning of 2021, I never even imagined that we would be going 5 years later still. I don't know what I imagined. I didn't imagine anything. This is the problem. I have these ideas or I have a plan and I never think about the future. I just think, oh, this is a nice thing to do. And I don't really plan properly. Did you think, we'd still be going in 2026, Andrea? Or am I on my own and you planned the whole thing?
Couldn't see an end to it because when I looked at Ancestral Food, I was like, boy, there's about 5,000 episodes we could do. It's not like if we did a specific super niche topic and you'd kind of run out of things to talk about. So I didn't really know what or if any end point would be because all I could see was like, there's a lot we could do here. And then once you do them, sometimes I find we need to go back and revisit them, like the supermarkets episode or things, we kind of have to circle back to them. Plus, you and I are evolving and developing our understanding and our philosophies as we go. And sometimes you need to come back and say, okay, this is where we were and what we said we didn't know. And now we've learned some more and here's where we're at now.
And now the input from the community as well of their ideas and their thoughts and their processes and what they know. Yeah.
I mean, just when you start thinking, I've got an idea on I've got a handle on this thing, then somebody comes in and is like, hi, I'm from this country and here's what we do. And you're like, I know nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So 5-year anniversary. We're going to be talking we're doing this episode to celebrate that a bit, but also to share with you a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes because it's interesting and there are some fun things to share.
Stuff. The making of.
And also, I know, exactly. When I listen
cut.
to things, I always want to know what goes on behind the scenes. So we're going to be talking about some kind of amazing facts of the podcast. And then we've got some exciting announcements about how you can get more of us and how you can get more involved with us and our direction going forward. Later on in the episode, we'll share a really quite long, it surprised me, anthology of all the things that we have that can help you wherever you are in your journey. Plus, we'll give you some insight later on in the episode into how we've changed personally over the time that we've been recording. So keep listening for that. Let's go to an ad break, Andrea, and then we can dive in.
Are you already making Boza, the probiotic millet drink, in your home kitchen? Yeah, Boza what? If you've listened to some of our earliest episodes, you have probably heard me ask Allison about 15 times how to pronounce this word. Boza is an ancient Turkish beverage made of fermented millet. It is gluten-free, lectin-free, and dairy-free. It is rich in probiotics and minerals and is one of the richest food sources of magnesium. And best of all, extremely economical to make. The process is easy, repeatable, and simple. Allison's course, Boza, the probiotic millet drink, filmed in her sunny Italian kitchen, was an incredible way for me to learn as she walked me through step by step the process for making this drink and how to keep it on nonstop repeat in my own kitchen. Go to ancestralkitchen.com/BOZA to purchase the class and start making your Boza today.
Okay, so over the last 5 years, I looked up some stats for what we've created, and really it was quite surprising to me. So on the main podcast, this is the one that you're listening to at the moment, the one that goes out to everyone, we have almost 200 hours of recording. And 200 hours, if you put it back to back, would give you 8 days and nights of continuous listening.
Wow.
And that, I mean, you start it on a Monday and you
insane.
just played us constantly. You'd still be going the following Tuesday and you'd be listening to it all through the night as well. Maybe you'd be subliminally like taking it in, and then you'd come out and you just know how to do everything in the kitchen.
That's the way to do it.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that many people have told us that they listen to the episodes over and over again. So, if you've listened to all episodes and potentially you've listened to them over and over again, you've done a lot of listening to us talk, which is just incredible. I wondered, Andrew, if you wanted to take a guess at how many hours of our life it has taken for us to plan, record, and edit those episodes, because that's always quite eye-watering to me.
No, I don't want to, but I will say that all the time, planning and recording has been quality time well spent with a very good friend of mine. So, as for the editing,
nice.
Rob is on his own.
Yeah, exactly. He's just on his own with his computer. And that's nice. Do you have any highlights from these 200 hours of episodes?
Oh my gosh, there's so many highlights. I had a hard time thinking about this one. Of course, it's, with thinking in reverse order, of course, you're immediately thinking of the things that just happened.
The recent ones.
The interview with Tara was a highlight, a pinnacle, a peak, in that it was something I had talked about with you from our very first planning meeting that I wanted to do. So that was incredible, and that just happened. And recording with Rob is definitely a highlight because, well, you know how Rob is. He's so funny. And the coffee episode, I don't care if you drink coffee or not. You have to listen to that episode. It is so funny. Rob just his dry humor, maybe is a British thing. I don't know. But
you enjoy.
I do enjoy it. Yeah, there's a lot of highlights, and some of the highlights include remembering where I was when we recorded, like sitting on the floor or whatever.
Yeah, that's true for me, because I've recorded in lots of different spaces.
Yes.
We've moved countries in the process, but also, sitting on, when my body's not been playing ball so well, I've been sitting on a great big inflatable bowl recording. Yeah. I've used a Black & Decker work table that Rob has to do sawing on, to attach things to. I've sat on the floor with cushions. I'm sitting at the moment in a garden chair in the bedroom that Rob and I sleep in, with the bed pushed up against the wall, so there's room. We have tatami mats and futon beds, so we literally lift them up so there's room for us to work. It just there's all those memories tied in to those individual recordings. You're totally right. I feel like, as favourite episodes go, for me, there's so many of them. There are so many of them. I really enjoyed recording episode 57, which was the ancestral food of Wales, because it felt to me, my granddad was born in North Wales, and really that's the closest sort of heritage that I have. I don't feel any other, I feel in my body a sense of a connection to my granddad and his family that would have lived in North Wales for probably centuries before him. And so I really enjoyed talking to Carwyn, who is just an expert on Wales and wonderful to listen to. And just obviously there were oats in there, which just added to it for me.
That's such a colourful episode.
It was really, really nice. Rob had to work on that episode incredibly.
I remember,
Carwyn didn't put headphones on, and we had this echo all the way through, and we wondered whether we could even save it. Thankfully, his long kind of going over it did save it, and it's actually quite good quality.
We cannot say enough thanks to Rob that we're on the air, like in any decent fashion. He has saved us many times. Some horrifying, mostly on my end, mistakes.
No, sometimes on mine.
Rarely.
I also like episode number 60, which was the fermented drinks episode, because there were just so many fermented drinks, and we were like, bam, bam,
we
bam,
couldn't run
bam.
out.
All these fermented drinks.
We have more now
that you can make. Yeah, exactly. We need to do what more fermented drinks can I make?
Yeah.
I think is another episode.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
What other fermented drinks can I make? I enjoyed the baking pans with Ellie, which is a more recent one, 110.
That one's a good episode.
It's just geeky. We're just geeking all the time. And Ellie is so knowledgeable. Exactly. She's so knowledgeable.
I put
and I
in
learned
this
a lot.
shaped pan and this loaf and this temp, and I found this crust. But when I did this and you're like, oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, she does, exactly. I enjoyed them all, but I enjoyed 71, which was the interview with Abby Allen, who is at Piper's Farm in the southwest of England, because she's just amazing. She's an amazing speaker.
She is.
When I heard her talking, we were talking to her, both of us, and she should be representing a country. She's just,
I know.
She's just so good. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Even when we were talking off the books with her, I was like, we could record this. You could sell this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good.
Exactly. She's so good.
Plus, I loved her
How about you,
sweater.
Andrea? Have you got some episodes out of the 100 and however many it is that kind of stick out?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I really love the Christmas episodes. I feel like those are just cozy and special. And 38 is a KTC replay that we put on the main feed during the summer. And I remember it was when you asked me about eggs. And sometimes just in the middle of the night, I think about that and I start laughing. So I like that one.
That one, I just have to say something about that egg episode. I think it is an absolutely hysterical episode, but I thought maybe it's just me. Like people who laugh at their own jokes.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, don't stop going on about the eggs episode. It was hysterical to record. But maybe it was just a thing. Forget about the event. Literally, I feel the same.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to put it out in the main feed, because it's just so entertaining.
It is.
To hear our back and forth about eggs. So if you haven't listened to number 38, which was put out on the main feed, I think last year.
Was it? I don't even remember when.
Eggs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, do go and listen to that because it's fun. Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, it's all good. The 53 is the raw milk one. And because raw milk is such a near and dear to my heart subject, then I particularly love that one because it's...
And that's one of our most popular.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. And on that subject also, 61, which you recorded with Rebecca Holden, that episode made me cry. I love that episode. I love that one. And then it's hard to say, but I think I would also throw on 103, which was our nourishing traditions, something about food. 10 nourishing tradition.
Something about food. You just call it something.
The greatest. It's just such a good episode where we talked about, and we are always banging on about ancestral food is cheaper than processed food, And I made that episode because I thought, let me actually find out and actually prove it. Is it or isn't it? And so I priced out meals and compared them to, the grocery store, the cheapest versions I could find at the cheapest grocery store in the US. And we beat them. We beat them on all of them. So
every time.
I felt really proud of that.
That's nice. So let's talk about the private podcast at the moment as well, which is the one that goes out to all of our supporters who are in our community. So as of the middle of April, which is where we are now, there are 152 episodes or recordings or extras or after shows on there. And that is incredible, really. As well as these 800 hours of main feed podcasts, we've also got 152 episodes.
Especially because we didn't even know we were going to do that podcast. That was not in the plan. It just happened. No, it evolved.
Just happened.
Because we needed overflow space.
And I feel like that in that feed are some of my favourite recordings. Like you said, it's chatting to a friend. I feel like we're irreverent. We chat with fewer inhibitions.
Irreverent?
Yeah,
never.
Exactly. But I like the episodes on that feed a lot.
The one that you just put up with Nicole. Okay, anybody who's on the private podcast does need to go listen to that one right now. I think it is number 152 because it is the newest one.
Okay.
When Nicole, we're talking about the rooster balls. I was literally laughing out loud in my car. And her parents' love story. I could have listened to an entire episode about that. I could have. I could listen to Nicole talk about anything. But it was fun.
It was a good episode.
It's fun when I listen to you do an interview with somebody because I'm like, this is what it feels like to listen to the podcast. Like, I get to hear this. So
it's like, oh, new content. Exciting. I haven't heard it before. Do you listen to our episodes? That's something that probably people kind of wonder. Do you actually listen to them or not?
Not really.
No.
If you do one that I'm not on, I listen to it. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
I used to have to listen to them. Do you remember when we did the show notes?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
we had to sit down and listen to the entire episode and listen for errors, make notes and things like that. Now we've got a new system where we can write things down as we go. We can leave little tags for Rob. It's much better now. I went back and listened to a few. The one with Tara, I re-listened because I felt like so much came from her that even listening to her closely in the moment, I couldn't take it all in. And when I listened to it again, I felt like I got even more out of it. Things, maybe layers of what she said that I wasn't picking up the first time or whatever. So sometimes I do go back and listen to them. I was listening to a podcast of somebody once, and it's somebody, I do not remember what podcast it was, and I've always thought she sounds like me a little bit. And I was listening to it, and somebody came in, and they're like, "You're listening to yourself on your podcast?" And I was like, "No, this actually isn't me."
I don't usually listen to them at all. Like you said, we used to have to because we used to go through them. And obviously if there's an error on one of them, sometimes we don't know if it's good enough quality and we have to listen to it. But other than that, I don't listen to them. And we record so many of them because we record for the supporter feed too. That very often when a podcast comes out, I'm like, did I say that? Really? Someone says to me, I love the way you said that. I'm really.
What did I say? That was so great. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So, along with the main feed episodes and these private podcast feeds, we've also got lots of downloads on our site. If you go to ancestralkitchen.com/downloads, or in the menu of ancestralkitchenpodcast.com, choose the downloads option, you will find many downloads. A lot of them are for all listeners. There's a milling guide, there's a winter eating guide, there's the Ancestral Kitchen Challenge, and there are over 40 downloads for companionship supporters. PDFs, videos, notes, samples from guest cookbooks, guest writing, guest video demos, worksheets, recipe books. The stash that is growing on there is really quite substantial. Andrea, you've been working with our output of recipe books and booklets. I mean, you've done the majority of the work on making them look beautiful. And I know you've been kind of going back over them and trying to sort them over the last few months. Tell us what you realised.
Well, we have enough content for a huge cookbook. Like we do. And I've thought before how nice it would be to pull everything together into one book. If you're a publisher, please approach us about this concept. Yeah. We have hundreds of original and delicious ancestral recipes that honestly, this is the thing, Allison, when I look at food in cookbooks, even really good cookbooks, it's just not the way that food comes at you. Like things are measured in grocery store sizes and or grocery store cuts and shapes of things, and that's not how most of us who are listening to this, we're not getting chicken like that. It doesn't look like that. And so the recipes in a lot of these books, you can translate them, but it's kind of a mental effort to be translating constantly when you're cooking. And as you know, having lived in different countries, but we have so much. I think it would make a beautiful, huge book.
So that's in our future, perhaps.
Sure is.
Which should be exciting. So all of this has happened incredibly without us ever having met each other, which, new listeners come in and they're like, really? What? We've not met. We started online, we met online and then we communicated online and we passed ideas online and then we started recording. And so far, it has all stayed online.
Yeah.
During that time, during the last 5 years, there were times where regularly we've met twice a week
for a long time.
On a video call.
For a long time we did.
For many months, we met twice a week, every single week on video. That's how much time we're spending together. If you think about, the friends that you see regularly, we'd be on the phone for like 3.5 hours each time, twice a week, which is a substantial amount of
I told my mom
time.
The other day, I was like, I don't think there's anybody. I mean, there's Gary and my mom that I talk to the most, and there's you. And I think you even eclipse my mom because some weeks we don't get to have a dedicated talk. But then again, other weeks, we're together for hours on end. So maybe it evens out, but it is pretty awesome.
I definitely talk to you more than I talk to my mum. I don't know, that doesn't really mean anything particularly, but I talk to Rob more, and then Gabriel probably, and then you.
Yeah.
I think you're the next one. So even though we've never met in real life, interestingly, we have both dreamt about meeting each other, haven't we?
Yes,
do tell the listeners about that.
It was wild because we dreamed it the same night. I messaged you and I said, I had a dream that we met and that I just we hugged for a really long, long time. And you said, what? I just dreamed that I was meeting you at the airport and I was running to meet you. It was just so crazy. I was like, did we meet somewhere in the outer space?
In some realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some realm that we don't know about.
So funny. I don't know.
So yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
we did.
we did, exactly.
Episode, when you did the episode with Nicole, I was very jealous listening to you and Nicole prattle on about cooking together and talking and getting distracted. I was like, I like to think that if we get together, we'd be eating all this good food, but also would be cooking. It would be so distracting.
Yeah.
But
if we do meet, or when we do meet, we have to not fill our time with tons of stuff, because when I was at Nicole's, I was there for a week and she had some ideas of what we could go and do. And each time we kind of said something, I was like, I just want to stay here and talk and cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was,
that's the best.
Really rewarding.
That's what Leah does when she comes over. We just stay here and I thought when I heard you and Nicole, that sounds like when Leah comes over, because she sits and she's nursing a baby or both babies. She nursed her baby and my baby last time, and reads, or we just talk, and she just entertains me, and I'll be cooking and she'll be chasing kids or whatever. It just works out that way. But
yeah, that's nice.
I did definitely see myself in Nicole's, panic when you were coming over. I was like, how many times have I walked through my house without, what would Allison think? What would Allison think?
Don't start that. Yeah, well, obviously I'm going to come and I'm going to go, no, that's horrible, that's not right, that's not right. And then I'm not going to show you my house at all because, you do exactly the same thing here, really.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, let's talk about the listeners now. We have amazing listeners.
People.
In episode 122, we talked about you, our listener, more. We have listeners in 68 countries. You leave us reviews.
Yay.
Thank you for doing that. And we read them.
We do.
If you haven't left us a review yet, check the show notes because that will tell you how to do it. You send us emails. You tell your friends about the podcast, which is invaluable to us. So many people who are listening to the podcast or who are supporters of the podcast have said to me, I found out because my friend told me about you.
So many.
So that feels, that's like the best recommendation ever, the best way of finding a listener ever. And importantly, you do the work in the kitchen, which is keeping ancestral food alive and passing and nourishing friends and family and youngsters and keeping the skills alive and bringing back the skills and supporting farmers and looking after our soil and our environment. And that is what we want. That's the whole reason behind this podcast. So thank you.
They're probably doing that kitchen work right now.
Yeah, well, they're listening.
Hello.
Exactly. And within our listeners, we have amazing supporters who contribute to the podcast and become part of our community. We have over 140 supporters spread over all the different levels and spread all over the globe. And as part of our community, some people just support us because they believe in what they're doing and they want to give some of that energy back to us. But a lot of people join because they want to be part of our community. And in the community, we have the Discord forum, which we talked a little bit about earlier on in the podcast, where we share what we're up to. We talk about the things that are going well. We ask questions. We rant because we know that we're with friends within that community.
Never.
Rant.
Never.
Rant. No, I don't rant. I never rant. So, Andrew, you talked a little bit about Discord at the beginning, and to talk a little bit to us about how you feel it's grown from the early days of Discord when we first started it. What's changed?
So much. Well, the conversations definitely happen, daily. There's conversations, which is really fun to see because it's like people just kind of chilling, hanging out, visiting. And as I alluded to before, there's multiple different read-alongs that are running concurrently or have run at different times. And the newest one that started that I mentioned before on the Charlotte Mason philosophy wasn't not started by you or I, which I thought was really cool. It was started by the listeners. They took ownership of it and made it their own. There's been meetups in real life. We had a camp out here on the property with people from the area. I mean, people actually flew and drove in from kind of far too, but we had one here. And then the Discord is just, I mean, you bring your troubles to the Discord and you think nobody's ever been through this or seen such a thing, whether it be what somebody said unthinkingly to your child or to you at a holiday party, or if it's something that you don't know is mold on the top of your ferment. People post pictures or share what's going on, or their dough that didn't rise, or animals that in the barnyard aren't doing the right thing or something. And I'm always shocked by the different experts that kind of emerge from the woodwork in there. So really thankful for everybody's support. And Megan Francis, I did the tea episode with her, and she's a amazing supporter, emotional supporter of the podcast as well. She takes our podcaster confessions and queries from the professional standpoint as well. And she is always sharing pithy questions in there. And she put up an article the other day on the Camembert cheese crisis, which is an item I didn't know existed. I mean, the cheese, yes, the crisis, no. And Allison, it was just like everything when you and I talk about food, it's here's what's happening, and then just unraveling the ideas that that led to it. And it was so, I could sit down and read that article with like you and Megan, and like that'd just be a really good article to read. Anyways, it's its own thing now in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a life of itself, from the beginning when there were only a few of us, and now there's a whole lot of people talking to each other over their own kind of kitchen tables, in quotes. It's absolutely amazing. So, and it's not, some people feel kind of intimidated at the beginning that it might be difficult to get used to. But really, it is quite simple to get used to. And there are no adverts. There's none of the social media advert here, advert there. It's only the people who are in the community who see what you're writing, and there is no you being bombarded by people who want to sell you some stuff, like on Facebook.
I mean, we'll sell you stuff, but it's just us.
Yeah. Okay. So also the community has live meetings once a month. And I remember when we first started those live meetings, we had just one supporter who came along. Diana, thank you, because several months in a row, you were the only person who came to those live meetings, and it was an absolute joy to be able to visit with you for like, an hour or just over an hour and just chat, the three of us. And now the meetings are full. We could have more, but there's so many faces that come up on my screen in front of me. It's amazing. Not everyone talks. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. And it's just so nice to see faces and get to know people. I know I've met some supporters, but also I feel like I know supporters more because I've seen them faces and I've talked to them during those live meetings.
Yeah.
Which
shout
really
out
cool.
to Francine. Ever since she joined, she has been on every single live call. Except she's slamming the countertop as I say this. Like 2 or 3 months ago, something happened with her alarm. And it was so weird because Francine wasn't there, and I was like, I don't know if this meeting counts. Like, is this legal? Are we allowed to post this? Because Francine wasn't
It's
there.
the middle of the night for her because she's in Australia.
2 or 3 in the morning.
2:30 or something. So she always sets her alarm for it.
With like cats climbing on her and toads jumping past.
Out on the deck.
Sun rising.
Because she doesn't want to wake the house.
Yeah. In a blanket outside. She's
so we have those once a month. There's also the private podcast that we talked a little bit about earlier on. There's so much wisdom on there. The intimate chats between just you and I. Sometimes I'm forgetting that we've actually got recording buttons on. Consistently, supporters tell us how much they get from those episodes.
They're good.
We also have the downloads, which are extra support and ideas, plus the release of any new material. Andrew, do you want to talk a little bit about how what happens when we create something, and how it goes out to the podcast community.
The system we are currently using, which could change in the future, but this is what we're doing at the moment, is when you and I put together a product that we're going to sell, we don't always know when we're going to do this, because sometimes it takes us by surprise, like the pork book. We weren't expecting it to turn into such a big book, but every day it grew. And so what we do is we send it out first to our supporters at the companionship and up levels. So the product goes out first to all of them as like a extra freebie for supporting us during the making of it. And then it goes up for sale on our website. So supporters always get it first. It isn't available later for supporters to go back and download, just the people who are supporting at that time through that window of time get it. So then we kind of do the Christmas hamper is the same thing. That was an idea very near and dear to my heart that I really wanted to go put something in the hands of each of our supporters, but that's really hard to do when everybody's all over the place. And so I thought, what if I made something that was just for supporters, and it doesn't have a specific date, but it goes out in a short-term download format where people can download it in the holiday season. And supporters are contributing to this thing. Like this is growing, and just every year we add to it. So it's the same hamper, but kind of evolved and growing. So then classics are coming back up over and over. I always want to make a bazillion. The ideas I have of the things I want to make exceed my capacity at this time. But there's so many great things. We've got that scone mini book that you came up with the gluten-free scones and the spelt scones. And we've got the Christmas pudding book that you and Francine put together, which is so awesome. We've got, guests who come on that have cookbooks always contribute a few recipes for us to publish for our listeners. So if you listen to us interview, a cookbook author, if you're a supporter, then you typically can always go in and download something from them, which is really awesome. And it's just really fun.
Cool.
I love the downloads.
It feels to me like, the podcast started because of our desire to share our kitchens with each other and with other people. And with that value in my mind, the community that's developed around it just feels amazing, because it feels like a direct kind of engorgement of the energy of what we were feeling around what we wanted to do. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes.
Here we go.
So physically, you see sometimes podcasters who've got like the whole thing. They've got the lighting, they've got the desks, they've got the proper this and that, and the headphones, and there's a separate room, and it's soundproofed, and it's all absolutely perfect. That is not us. So we have no studio. It's just us. And Andrea's in Washington State, and I'm in England. And generally, Andrea, you're in your basement.
Yeah.
And so it's quite dark quite often. And I'm in a bedroom. And you have to remember that we are 9 hours apart. It's not like we can just go, right, okay, let's meet at 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It doesn't work like that. So usually it's dark for one or both of us when we're recording. We record at, get ready for this, 5:45 a.m. Andrea's time. And so in the winter, Andrea is generally swathed in blankets.
Truly.
Because we have to keep warm. And as we get into like October, it's dark for her and it's dark for me as well. And I have to remember that it's going to get dark. So what usually happens is when we start, it's light and I'm like, fine, and then halfway through, I'm like, oh, it's getting dark. I can't see the screen anymore. I don't know what's going on, but I can't move because I'm in the middle of recording a podcast.
Underneath all the cables.
Exactly. So what listeners don't realise is that, I don't have a desk when I record. I don't have a physical desk to work at all. We don't have a space that's big enough for me to have that. And I like to be more flexible in how I work. So I'm sitting in a chair right now, and I have 3 what can only be kind of described as microphone stands around me. One is holding a microphone, Another one is holding the device that I'm communicating with Andrea on and that the podcast's been recording on. A third one is holding my own ebook reader, which has some notes on for the episode. I have a pad on my lap and a pen on my lap. I have a light to my right. And then I'm got sort of boxed in our bedroom. I've got an easel to my left because I was doing some painting this morning. And it's not systematized and kind of clean. It's very homely is the right word. Would you think that's a good word to describe it, Andrea? Homely?
Yeah, I'd say cobbled together is how I usually feel.
Yeah.
Patched together.
Yeah.
Sending raw bits and pieces of things. And can you paste this into an audio format, please?
So we are known for having technology issues. No matter how many times we do this, 100 and something episodes later, there is always something that goes wrong.
300 if you think about it.
Oh, exactly. If you add up the other podcasts as well, that you would think we would have it down. We would have it down, but we've changed equipment a bit because there's equipment breaks, and you want to get something a bit better. Yep. We generally have microphone issues.
Software, then the software changes.
Then software changes.
It doesn't work with the equipment we had before anymore.
Exactly. The microphone doesn't plug in, and we've no idea why. It's because there's been some update on the computer that we didn't know about.
Zoom is downloading emoji packages for the 80th time.
Oh, gosh. I had a period last year where my computer was just always downloading emojis and never, ever finishing. And we were like, we couldn't record because it was downloading emojis.
Oh, it was so terrible.
But not only do we have microphone and tech issues, we also, what seems to haunt me is drilling and tree cutting issues.
I swear. There can't have been a tree left in Tuscany by the time you moved out of there.
So the first time we decided we're going to do these live cook-ups where we cooked and videoed and talked. Fun. And this was in my flat in just outside Florence. And I had a tiny little garden underneath. It's a single window. They weren't double glazed at all. And so I was probably about, 9 foot as the crow flies from my garden. And as soon as we started recording, a tree that had been just at the edge of my garden, in my neighbour's garden, for all of the time we lived in that flat, and was a huge tree, someone just started cutting the tree down the moment we hit record.
Allison goes, hi, and then, wah, wah. I was like, this can't be happening.
And it's like it haunts me. When we were living in that flat in Ponticello, which is near Florence, it had very low ceilings and there was a flat above us.
Oh my God.
The ceilings were probably only 7 foot. And halfway through the summer, the person who lived in the flat above us vacated the flat, and they decided to do an entire refit of the flat. So they had like a jackhammer up there.
Okay, so people have to understand these things are built out of stone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not linoleum.
Everything's made of stone. It's not like a normal European, British house, which is more kind of insulated. In Italy, everything echoes. Yeah. If you live in a flat with other flats, everything echoes like 10 times more than it echoes in the UK. And partly because the floors are not carpeted, they're made of tile or marble. And so this flat was being done above us, and they had a jackhammer up there, and they were taking up the ceramic tiling floor. And this was about 1.5 foot above our head, literally. And we couldn't be in the flat. It was horrible. It was the holidays, Easter holidays.
Like just cruising.
We had to leave
the train stations. I don't even know. You even called me from a train station. Once.
We had meetings from a train station platform in Florence because I had nowhere to be.
How was it a 4,800 square foot apartment? Like, how much could they be drilling every?
Oh, it was
every
awful.
Time we get together.
It felt like the ceiling was coming in. And
over a year.
For some time we used because it was Easter holidays. We asked Gabriel's school, because he was at the Steiner School at Florence then, if we could use the classroom. And so actually most of the spelt book, which is in our shop, Sourdough Spelt Every Day, was written in Gabriel's classroom in Florence while our house was being subjected to the most horrendous noise. And it's just
it was really bad.
You don't realise
I couldn't
the noise around you.
Couldn't even hear you talking.
Exactly. You don't realise until you do video calls or you do a podcast that there's just noise, because I live around people. You've got a kind of a barrier around you, Andrea. You've got your wood and you've got space, but I live, and I always have lived, around people, and people are unpredictable and noisy sometimes. And when you've got a podcast, you're like, no, I'm just about to phone Andrea, it's 5:45 in the morning her time, and I want to record. Now we can't.
There were times we literally couldn't. And I remember it seemed so bizarre because we would get on sometimes and you would say, okay, it's been 8 days. They haven't been here. And then we would start and they'd be like, what? It just was so like, how did they know we were trying? And I remember Rob would go up and ask them, okay, we're gonna, and Rob's a musician. He's a professional musician. Yeah. Audio is life. That was the wildest. So and then they'd take these 4-hour lunch breaks and come back right when we were going to start recording.
Yeah. It feels like, I don't know, anytime you try and do something that's challenging and hard, you come across problems and it's never simple. It might sound like hopefully we make it sound simple and easy and smooth.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's anything but behind the scenes very often. So
I think we've come a long way, though, I can say.
Oh,
it is
definitely.
Not like it was in the beginning now.
At the beginning, I agree. And partially that's thanks to the community that's enabled us to buy some technology, which is better than the technology we were using at the beginning. Yeah, exactly. So Rob, my husband, does all of the mixing for the podcast. And interestingly, he does it without using a visual mixer. So, you can't see any waveforms. He's doing it on a Raspberry Pi computer, which probably, that would go way above my head, but it's unusual. And we also have Ashley, who is an old friend of Rob's, who puts the episodes up on our podcast host and on our website. And he helps organize sending the emails and helps with the community. And then we have Megan, who is a member of our community, who runs a farm herself, who helps with our project management software and kind of keeping us in order. Because yes, we do have project management software to manage the podcast. She organises the calendar and says to us, right, what episodes are you doing next month? And we can't get out of it. We have to make a decision. So that's what goes on a bit behind the scenes. We're going to talk a bit more about that. Let's take a break for a moment, Andrea.
Milling your own grain is all well and good until you learn it takes several hours leaning over a heavy stone quern just to produce enough flour for a few pancakes. Well, we say no to that. Enter Mockmill, the modern and ancestral way of stone grinding your grain without an entire village of sisters at your beck and call. Learn about grinding your own grain and using it for baking by visiting ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/milling to read our Guide to Milling Your Own Flour. You will learn about surprising savings and health benefits from home grinding and why Allison has so heartily recommended the Mockmill. Wait, Mockmill does not give referral links. They simply look to see what website a customer traveled from when purchasing their Mockmill and then give a generous referral to us in your name. If you are investing in a Mockmill, please visit ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/milling to shop, and the referral does not cost you a thing. If a family member is purchasing a Mockmill for you, after you promise to make them loaves of bread for the rest of their life in gratitude, then make sure they click ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/milling and travel directly to the Mockmill link provided there to make their purchase. We are thankful for you remembering us when you shop, and we will raise a piece of toast in your honor.
Okay, so right back 5 years ago when we started this, I thought, okay, let's do a podcast. But really, it is so much more work than I could ever have imagined back then. Ashley, who I talked about just before the break, and Megan, both of them, when they came on board, when they started to see what was going on behind the scenes, they were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that a podcast was this much work. I remember Ashley actually saying to me, I was thinking about doing a podcast, but when I saw what you do, there's no way I'm doing that. Right, okay, thanks for that. Each of the episodes that we put out, generally they're around 90 minutes, aren't they? But I would estimate that a good, easy podcast takes about 10 man-hours to make. So that 90 minutes is taking us, for a podcast that goes well, 10 hours. We've got brainstorming to try and decide what we're doing. And then when one of us will research each podcast, sometimes both of us do, I'd say that takes about 3 hours, maybe for a very in-depth podcast, longer than that. And then we're planning it and we're outlining it. It takes us both 2 hours to record the podcast. And then we're writing and recording an introduction, sorting out all the admin, getting all the show notes. Andrew, your show notes must take a lot longer because they are epic show notes. And then Rob is mixing the podcast. On a simple podcast, that takes him 90 minutes, roughly. And then 30 minutes admin to post in all the different places. And that's without all the thinking in the shower, musing while my breakfast is going down, the problems when it goes wrong. We've had to, frustratingly, totally re-record more than one episode.
We've done a
lovely episode. And it's just, it's so soul destroying when you record a lovely podcast and both of you have carved out time to do it, and then there's some problem with it and you got to do it all again.
The pork episode. Yeah. I remember we recorded that one. It was, we were patting each other on the back, like, wow, we did such a good job. And then you told me you were sitting and working and Rob was working on the podcast. He came in and knelt down and took your hand and said, Allison, I have to tell you something. We can't use the audio from the pork episode. And then you guys had to call me and tell me, and I was like, no. But you know what, Allison? Our second recording was even better.
Yeah, it was. Exactly.
It was even better. So the muse wanted it to be perfect, and that's okay. But it is quite a shock when you're like, wait a minute, what are we going to do now?
We nailed that. Oh, no, we didn't nail it. Oops. No. So as we've also said, Rob sometimes has spent 4 to 5 hours trying to save the audio on some of the podcasts, and our research-heavy podcasts have taken much, much longer. Andrew's show notes take a lot longer.
Yeah. And Rob has gotten a lot faster. I mean, even those 4 to 5 hours are still, those are just trying to save a podcast, but his general time he's cut down a lot because of ways, either apps he's written to find usual things that go wrong for us, or keywords that you and I can put in to help him find certain spots to put ads and things like that. So
that's helped. And Megan Francis, who you talked about earlier on the tea episode, she really helped us about 2 years ago go through and trying to streamline our procedures to make it simpler, and that really helped us, didn't it? So thank you, Megan, for that.
Megan, I actually would say listeners noticed too, because we got comments from people that it just seemed like it went up a notch.
Okay.
Remember, somebody said, wow, you're so organized,
Well, yeah, exactly. We are. And I just recorded with Holly Howe, who this episode won't go out for quite a while yet. An amazing episode about fermenting vegetables. And I sent her like the template with all the questions in that are coming from all the supporters. Good. And the first thing she said to me was, wow, this is amazing. You are so organized. I think, well, we have to be. We have to be to put an episode out.
People, I mean, at this point, we're in only 2 different countries, but we were in 3 countries and 3 time zones. And, there's Rob was in Italy, Ash was in the UK, Megan's over in the Midwest, I'm here in the Northwest. Like it was, we had to, everybody needed to know their place in the play.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the work that goes into each of the episodes that go out. But we've also got the website, which needs to be updated, the emails that go out, the tech issues that happen, keeping everything up to date, community, all the administration. The community, the supporter community is great because at the current level of supporters we have, it covers the costs for all of our software, the tech running costs, and it pays for the running of itself. So it pays for the running of the community, and it pays for those helpers. It pays for Ashley and it pays for Megan. But Andrea and I ourselves don't currently receive any funds for the work that we put in personally to making this show.
How much time do you think you spend on the podcast yourself?
I hadn't thought about this until I went to visit Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole put
about
it
Nicole
in my
a lot
head.
in this episode.
Yeah.
And Nicole asked me when I was there, how much time do you think you spend on the podcast? And I started to say some figures, and I thought, oh no, but there's this and there's that and there's this and there's that. And in the end, she said, write it down. So I got out a piece of paper and I wrote down all of the things that I do, and I put how many hours. And I think I spend 35 hours a month on the podcast.
Yeah, I would say from your output, at least.
Yeah.
And this is with you've done a good job of passing, admin type stuff off.
Yeah.
You've done very good
to
with
other
that.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a lot more. But still 35 hours.
That's
When
a
I looked
lot.
at that figure, I was like,
Still a
gosh,
lot.
that's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a little bit about kind of what's involved. Let's talk about, I've got 3 exciting announcements of how you can get more Ancestral Kitchen podcasts in your kitchen, how you can help produce episodes, and how you can even get your name on the show. So let's kind of talk through the next section, and I will hit you with the 3 exciting announcements.
I'm ready.
So how you can help us, you can review us.
Yes.
There are instructions on how to do that in the show notes. If you're on Apple, you can review us. I think on Spotify, you can give us a star rating, and you can leave a comment on an individual episode.
Even if you do this just a star rating on Apple or anything, Apple looks at them
Makes
the same.
a difference.
And Apple's all about those ratings. So throw them on there.
Absolutely. You can tell your friends about us, as I said earlier on. That makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
You can tell your friends in real life, or you can tell your friends online about us too.
Yep. You can send them a screenshot or like the link to the podcast too.
Exactly. Yeah. You can purchase our books and our products. All the 3 books are available as one item now on the website. You can gift our books to other people as well if you want to give it to someone as a present. You can also purchase our affiliates, which is One Earth Health, the liver capsules, the Bokashi buckets, and the mock meal. We get a small kickback when someone buys those products. You don't pay any more for buying them.
Hey, and now we can add Catch a Can Sam's to that list too.
Yeah. We should put that on the website, because I don't think it's on the website yet, is it?
We better.
Yeah, we'll get that up. You can also consider joining the community and supporting us. You don't have to join the actual community. You know, if you don't want to come and do the Discord forum and you don't want to listen to the other stuff, you don't have to. Some people, as I said earlier, just support us. And some people support us and come and, take part. And excitingly, you can now gift a subscription. This is a new thing that I only found about yesterday.
This is really awesome.
Yesterday, which is perfect timing for this episode. So we've actually had some people come to us and say, look, I want to buy a year's worth of membership to your community for my daughter. And Rob's had to go kind of back and forth and organise it all. But now there's a little tick box on the website. So if you want to go and join the community and give it to someone, your daughter or your mother or your friend, you just tick that box and automatically they get all the information about it and you send us the funds.
I think that's such a good idea because one of the gals who joined the community, she might be the one that Rob was doing the back end for theme meals with.
Yeah, I
and
think
her mom
recently
bought her a year subscription to it for a birthday gift. And I thought, that's a really good idea because, how much stuff does somebody maybe want? It's hard to say how many things you might want to pack and move.
Yeah.
But, she's getting started, in her life with her partner and cooking and running a household and things like that.
And now she's got all this support around her.
Yeah, everybody in there who can cheer her on and then all the...
Exactly.
May I say, all the awesome downloads she can get.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The community has 5 levels. So, however much you want to get involved and however much you are able to pledge, you can choose a level that suits you. So the first announcement that I've got about this, which is very exciting, is we have a new level. We used to have 4 levels. We now have 5. People at our most popular level, which is the companionship, were asking how they could give more to support the podcast. So we've created a new level called Fellowship, which is one step up from companionship. The funds that come into us at this level go towards remunerating Andrea and I for the work that we put into the show. It's kind of extra on the fact that at the moment, the supporters are paying for our tech and stuff and the community. This level will give us extra funds so Andrea and I can actually receive some funds. We also do have a level called Stewardship, which is another level above Fellowship, and we have several supporters at that level. At that level, if you sign up to Stewardship, you are actually contributing to 2 hours of work from one of us each month. So the money that you're pledging to us at the Stewardship level will pay for either Andrea to do 2 hours research a month or me to do 2 hours work and research a month, which feels, some people feel like they want to contribute and to send that energy back to Andrea and I personally. And at the new Fellowship level and the Stewardship level, you can do that. these levels feel like to me, they feel invaluable.
Oh, yeah.
They mean that we can feel good about what we're doing in more ways than just being super passionate about the mission. Knowing that we are bringing some funds into our households for our time spent on the podcast.
I love it.
So if you aren't a supporter and you would like to become a supporter, you can go to Ancestral Kitchen Podcast /join. If you are a companionship supporter now and you would like to consider moving up to fellowship, our new level, please think about it. There are instructions, hopefully, in your inbox now, if I can get organised, to explain the mechanics of it. You need to actually sign in to the Manage Your Account section on our website and choose Upgrade. So make sure that you follow the instructions that you'll find there. If you're new, you just go to ancestralkitchenpodcast.com, join us, and everything's all explained there.
Perfect.
So, can I go on to our second announcement, Andrew? Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I love that. Okay. I think you said it also well, and I'm thankful to the many supporters at the companionship level who asked, what they could do, or could you Venmo us a coffee, or what could they do to just sort of throw their weight behind the mission, and it really made me realize how serious people are out there about getting the message of ancestral food out to other people. And when you see somebody's email where they tell you the things that their family has changed and what it has done for their health and their life, then you realize, that's why they want the message to be going out to more people, because after a while you start to realize, dang, this is really foundational. So I'm so thankful that those, maybe they don't all want to start their own podcast, but they're here to, like Ash, they're like, I don't know about that, but they're here to help with this one, which is really, really fabulous.
Absolutely. Okay, so that was announcement number 1, our new level, our fellowship level. Announcement number 2 is we've enabled the possibility for people to sponsor an episode of the podcast.
This one's cool, so Allison. I love this idea.
Yeah, I know you like this one. This is your little pet one, isn't it? In doing so, if you choose to sponsor an episode, you'll be supporting us for the work that we do to produce one of our monthly episodes. So as we said earlier, that's about 10 hours work a month. And you will be personally thanked during that episode, unless, of course, you want to be a kind of one of those hidden kind of donors. Then
Count of
you
Monte
can choose
Cristo.
That we won't say anything. You can keep it quiet.
Yeah.
But if you want us to thank you, we will profusely thank you, because you will have paid for us to do that research to get that episode up and ready. So you might want to sponsor an episode because you want to drop in a mention of the aligned work that you're doing. There are so many of our listeners who are doing something that's kind of parallel to the podcast. They might be making skincare that's made of tallow. They might be a nutritional therapist. They might be like Leah, having fish boxes that are sustainably sourced. They might be doing tons of things. So you could drop in a mention of the work that you're doing. You also might want to sponsor an episode because you want to shout out on the air and you want our deep gratitude, which you will receive, definitely.
Yes.
You also might want to sponsor an episode because you want to feel like the funds that you're sending our way result in something tangible. And they will. They will result in us receiving that energy for doing the research, the 10 hours work for that episode.
Allison, so I think the most tangible thing I've ever seen the funds ever go to was when somebody bought a mock mill. And so if somebody buys a mock mill through you travel through our link and go to Mock Mill's page and in that moment purchase it, Mock Mill actually sends us basically a sizable chunk, and it doesn't cost you anything. And I remember what happened. Gabriel locked the bathroom door or something. You got locked out of the house or something, and you're like, well, somebody bought a mock mill, so we called a locksmith. Yeah, and we had to come out and make a new key. It was
I'd forgotten about that. What happened was we were in our first house in Stroud, and the patio door, the key got lost for the patio door.
Oh, gosh.
I think possibly Gabriel did something with it. We don't really know. And then we couldn't lock the door. And we didn't realise we hadn't been able to lock the door. The door had been open for 10 days and we'd been going to bed with the door open. We had no idea. And then one day I was like, where's the key? I thought this door was
no.
locked. Where's the key? And turns out that the key had gone missing. We searched everywhere, all around the house.
That was so horrible.
And
I remember Rob was sleeping downstairs by the door.
Yeah, so Rob,
awful.
That night, Rob slept downstairs and he moved all his drums to the door just behind the curtain. So if someone tried to come in, they would knock over a drum kit and wake Rob up. Hopefully, he's quite a heavy sleeper. But I was not sleeping down on the sofa.
No.
Because the locksmith couldn't come to the next day. But the point of that was that we didn't have enough money that month to pay for a locksmith to come and sort that door out. And the only reason we could get that locksmith to do that for us was because there was money in the mock mill account that people had paid when they bought a mock mill. So I was able to take that out and use that to pay for a locksmith to come and replace the lock on our door, and we could lock it, and then I could sleep soundly at night.
But then when we met, next day, you're like, I haven't slept in 3 days. But thank goodness somebody got a mock mill. It was so crazy, the timing. So yeah, that was wild. So tangible results, you guys.
Absolutely. Tangible results. So if you would like to consider sponsoring an episode, go to our website, ancestralkitchenpodcast.com. There's an option on the menu titled Sponsor an Episode, and you can send us a note from the contact form there. That's quite simple. It will come to one of us and we will get back in contact with you. We are also potentially accepting new long-term sponsors, like we had one, Earth Health and Grand Teton, who have both decided to pursue other things now, but we are extremely grateful for the time that they spent with us. So if you have a company or you know someone who has a company who aligns with our values and you think would be of use to the people who are listening to us, please do send an email to support@Ancestral Kitchen Podcast, letting us know, and we will follow it up. Okay, announcement number 3, Andrea, or have you got something else to say?
No,
on that
I love
one?
it. I love
number 3. This one is the most fun one.
This one is a long time. I mean, several years in the making for this one.
Several years, yeah. This episode was supposed to go out about 4 months ago. Everything takes longer than you think. There's always something. This we wanted to do several years ago, and we have not been able to do it up until this point. And I'm very happy that we have.
It's happening.
So yeah, the drum roll. This is when I need Rob. Where is Rob?
He needs to put his drums behind the curtain
again. And then I'll knock them over. Announcement 3 is that we have merchandise.
Finally.
Amen. Finally. You can go to ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/merch. I will put that episode in the show notes, URL in the show notes, and that URL will be in the show notes in perpetuity now. I will make sure it's in the template. It's taken us so long to do this because we did not want to have some sweatshop in China making T-shirts for us and not paying the people who are doing it and putting inks on it, which are plastic and polluting the waterways. And we just could not find a way
and make polyester clothes and
find non-polluting clothes that would be available to people all over the world.
We have
because
been asked
I'm here in the UK
continuously.
Yeah, and
are you
going
to come out with T-shirts? Are you going to come out with bags? Is anything in the offing? And every so often we get together and like Gary and I look up websites. You look up, and we're just like, we can't in good faith put our name on this product that is the antithesis of what everything we believe is, and then sell it to advertise what we believe. Like we just can't do it. So that's why it's taken a very long time.
Exactly. But finally, I found a company called T-Mill, and I'm just going to give you the rundown so listeners understand just what this company do and how great our merch is. So Sustainable Review gave this company T-Mill a great environmental rating. They are certified GOTS, which is Global Organic Textile Standard, on all of their products. That certification ensures that every stage of their production, from organic cotton farming to final garment manufacturing, meets strict environmental and social criteria. There's no harmful chemicals, and they promote soil health. The company itself operates entirely on renewable energy, including wind and solar power, and uses a closed loop water system, which takes their wastewater and recycles it, which means they're not using as much water as other clothing companies. Their dyes are non-toxic, and low impact and used on their products, but also in all their printing. And that means they've got less pollution with their actual inks. Their packaging is plastic free. I have had some of their stuff come here and it's in paper bags, 100% recyclable. They are a pioneer in circular economy, allowing customers to return worn garments. This is really quite cool.
Yeah,
they've got particular garments that you when it's worn out, you can send it back and for no cost to you, and they'll recycle that and make it into a new product. I also saw something on their website that you can send other products back to them and they'll recycle them.
Nice.
So I've got to look at that. They are carbon neutral with a supply chain that's designed to not have any waste from the outset.
See, that's really important because I've seen companies who are carbon neutral, but it's just because they bought like 1 million acres of forest somewhere, not actually because they eliminated waste from the supply line. So
they designed it from the ground up to be like this,
I'm really
They're not just trying to get to some standard. We have some beautiful clothes available, and we have spent a lot of time together over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Trying to get the site to look nice and deciding
but that's been
what
really
t-shirts
fun,
we wanted.
Alison. You cannot
But it has
deny.
been fun. Oh, it has. It has been fun. Deciding whether we wanted, the logo, how we want the words to look, what font we're going to use.
And then Rebecca
what size t-shirts
on the spot,
and,
fixing things for us, making our pot look
Rebecca
good.
Lett, who's a supporter in Ireland, helped us with the logo, getting the
So
logo
thankful.
up there. There is an apron, which is cool because I've wanted an apron for so long.
That was the
and
thing.
if you go to the site, you'll see me modelling the apron.
It's a great
and
picture.
You will see
Gabe.
It's pristine. Oh, Gabriel as well. Yeah, Gabriel as well. It's quite big on him because it's an adult apron.
But it's so cute.
And it is pristine. There is not a mark on it.
Take your
sure
pictures
it won't
now,
stay like
people.
that for long. But yeah, if you get our apron, take a picture of it before you spill egg down it, because that's what I'm going to do, and then send us that picture, because we want to have pictures of listeners using our gear, wearing our gear on the site.
But also send us pictures of your apron when it's all messed up, and we'll have like an apron competition.
I think we have a competition. Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
We could possibly have a competition for the most messy apron.
Yeah.
I've only had this apron 3 weeks and look at how messy it is.
I cook a lot. I told you.
Exactly. There's also a market bag, which
that's really cute.
When I got the first sample of it, you were looking at Andrew and saying, it's solid, it's got really strong handles, it's got a panel in it, so it's not just one seam at the bottom. It's got a panel, so it's wide.
Yeah,
and
your stuff doesn't
fit
flop over
in
the
it.
whole time.
Exactly. So those are the two things I like best. There's cups, there's sweatshirts, there's men's gear, there's children's gear, there's t-shirts, there's just tons of stuff.
I'm amazed at what they're able to do. And we had if you're listening to if you don't get on the live calls that we do with our supporters once a month, you can listen to them on replay. And if you listen to the replay of the March one, we brainstormed some ideas on there, and you were traveling back from Nicole's that day, but everybody brought in, really great thoughts and was excited about it, which was fun.
Yeah. I'm excited about how everyone's excited about it. So what's important to say here is the clothes are not what you'd pay for a high street, non-organic sweatshop t-shirt, because that is not what those clothes are. They are not from a high street. They are organic and they are not made in the sweatshop. So when you go there, if you compare it to a t-shirt from Walmart or, the equivalent over here, then it's not going to be the same, because it's not that thing. It is something that someone's created with love and care for the environment. 15% of every standard purchase on that site goes to the podcast. So I'll say the URL again, because people might want to go and look at it now while they're listening. ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/merch, MERCH. And anything that you buy on there that's a standard product, we will receive 15% of what you pay. That will go towards funding the podcast. Yeah. We've also got kind of a special option on there, a donation option. Andrew, could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this was an idea that we brainstormed with supporters who were, again, asking, is there other ways they can support the podcast? We came up with the fellowship option for them, but also we decided to design some special products that are priced at the maximum, basically, of what T-Mill allows. So then you're buying this kind of special niche product. Maybe some of them will only be there for a short time. And you get to know that like you're giving a larger portion, like a larger percentage will be coming back to the podcast. So basically T-Mill lets you say what percentage you want to come back to you. And right now we just have it set at 15%, but we picked a couple items and we'll just say like a higher percent is going to come back to us. So you can go and see they'll cost you more and they're essentially just going to be giving a donation to the podcast.
Yeah. So those are labelled as donation items.
Yeah, they're
if you go in there and have a
labeled,
look, you
so
will
you know.
see those. They cost more and they're labelled so you can find them. So I've had some samples of this and I'm wearing it and taking the bag to the market and it just feels so amazing to be wearing it.
Because you don't feel swathed in guilt, honestly.
No, absolutely not.
When you put it on.
And I don't have to, people can find out about the podcast without me having to even talk about them. Yeah. And it's a passive way, I feel like a lot of the designs we paid extra so we could have designs on the back because I feel like, whenever I'm looking at people with things written on them, I don't necessarily always want to stare at their front because they can see that I'm staring at them. Whereas here, it's on the back.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm turning around, potentially all these people at the Stroud Farmers Market are seeing that passively that I've got a podcast.
I'm just picturing you like slowly turning around at the farmers market.
Exactly.
Everybody,
the reveal.
But if you get something from here, or maybe I should say when you get something from here, when you treat yourself, then if you take a picture of yourself wearing it, send it into us because we have these sort of standard model photos that the website has, but we would love to put our real people up with the real clothes and real life. So
yeah, absolutely. So go and take a look at the site. There are a few photos of us wearing the stuff, but like Andrew said, we want to put more up. Yeah. It's ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/merch. Okay, that's our 3 exciting announcements. Let's take a break. Are you looking for kitchen inspiration? Perhaps you're fed up with trying to make the recipes you find online suit your family. Would you like to try the dishes that we make in our kitchens every day? Andrea and I have penned 3 cookbooks that are there to support you to make ancestral food come to life in your own home. Meals at the Ancestral Hearth, our first cookbook, has 20 foundational ancestral meals, all of which come directly from our kitchens. Spelt Sourdough Every Day is my baby, taking you through how to bake a myriad of delicious ancient grain goodies. And the Pastured Pork Cookbook shares our love of this often overlooked meat, with over 35 recipes featuring heritage pork, offal and lard. Each book costs just $12, or you can get all 3 for $30, saving you $6. And all of the funds go directly to keeping us on the air. Head to ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/shop and get cooking. Okay, so before we end, we've got some more exciting things to talk about. I wanted to run down all the ways that we can support you, the listener. So each of these is an individual thing and there will be URLs in the show notes to access them.
This was a long list. I haven't
explained where they are. It is. So I'm going to go quite quickly through it. Right. So all of our episodes, just go back, listen to them all, listen to them again. People do. They're all there. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours, as we said, 8 days and nights for you to listen to of support. There's the 20 small steps to Ancestral Kitchen, which is available on ancestralkitchenpodcast.com. The banner at the top you put in your details and we will send that to you. There's our newsletter. If you think you've signed up for it and you're not getting it, do check your spam. Then we've got downloads on the site that are available for everyone. There's the Ancestral Kitchen Challenge. If you go to ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/downloads, you will see them all. There's a 50 ways to save money download. There are read-along downloads. There's a winter eating guide. There's a milling guide that we put together. And there's more. So you can go and download those to your own computer, stick them up, read them, whatever you want to do. On my site, which is ancestralkitchen.com, without the word podcast, the free guide, Baking with Ancient Grains, is available at the top. Again, you'll see that on any page. There's also a beginner's guide to rye sourdough bread, which I will link in the show notes. There's an oat collection with 3 heritage oat recipes that I will link in the show notes. There's my newsletter, which comes out every 2 weeks. And then I've got so many blog posts on there now. I think when I was in my software management for my site a couple of days ago, I think I'd almost got 1,000 blog posts, 950 something. So you can search on my site. I do highlight in my newsletter blog posts, because there's so many in the past. So if you're on my newsletter, you will kind of get sometimes every time I get it, you will see 3 or 4 that I've pulled up from the archives to be shown, because they're full of recipes and support. And then we have lots of low cost or free courses. So on the Fermentation School, fermentationschool.com, you can find my 10 tips for starting and maintaining a rye sourdough starter, which is free. On my site, ancestralkitchen.com, I've got Make and Maintain a Rye Sourdough Starter, which is a donation course. I have a free course, which is a video called Fermenting Oats, another free course, which is called Fermenting Ancient Grains. I have my chocolate course, which is very low cost. I have a Boza course, a Suans course, and then at the top of my set of courses, the longest and most in-depth one, but still really economical, is my rye course that, if you learn how to make sourdough rye bread, it will change your life.
All of those courses are excellent courses. And I will say that I hear rave reviews from everybody who takes them.
Thank you.
Although we are working on getting our reviews up. They are really, really awesome. And, as Brittany has pointed out, and many people have pointed out, geez, Allison is really thorough.
Yeah, I am.
You've got the receipts in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, interesting talking to Chelsea Green, the potential publisher for my book. They have fed back to me that, my gosh, you are thorough and, making sure you're doing it properly. And I'm like, that's how I do everything.
And this is coming from a publisher who's working with authors who are supposed to be very thorough. And they're like, of the thorough, you are the thoroughest. Yeah. You're a thoroughbred, Allison.
So we have 3 cookbooks. The first cookbook is Meals at the Ancestral Hearth. Then our Spelt Sourdough Everyday cookbook, written in Gabriel's school while my house was being demolished almost.
Jesus, it's like some kind of a fairy tale.
Recently, the Pastured Pork cookbook. That's our most recent one. And then we have the community, which, for supporting us at whatever level you can afford, will give you incredible support back. Andrea, do you want to add anything to that list?
Yeah, just above all, the thing to support the podcast is living ancestrally, really, truly, because your testimonies of how the podcast has helped educate and support you, and then all the ways that your life has changed as a result of that is what fuels our fire. Allison and I read the emails and the reviews together, and Megan too, or Rob will sometimes get one sent to him and send it forward to us and be like, you guys need to read this on the air. I mean, those things really are I don't know how to say it without falling into a cliche, but it's like the wind beneath our wings or something, when you read that and you just think, oh my gosh, they haven't bought bread in 4 years. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig in a little bit more with something I said that we'd get to at the beginning of the episode. We're finally getting there. It's been quite a long journey, as the podcast has been. Our lives over the last 5 years. So the highs and the lows. What do you think the highs and the lows of the podcast have been for you, Andrea?
Oh, gosh. Well, the lows were re-recording the liver and the pork episodes. Losing our internet multiple times during recording. I'm just putting my head down on the table so I don't scream. Probably some of I think I've sent audios to Rob before and been like, can you cut off the last 30 seconds? Because I was just like, what is happening? Forgetting to turn in my notes or not doing a task that was my responsibility. But this isn't really a low because it's become one of my favorite things. But in our first year, somebody complaining in a review about me cackling on the podcast. I was like, yeah.
Cackling.
Cackle.
Andrea, how dare you cackle?
Well, it's a get for living around chickens. I'd say some of the highs.
You know that Nicole said to me in the past that she really likes your laugh. So maybe that balance it out.
Yeah, we're even now.
Yeah.
Does she like my cackling though? So some of the highs, getting a new microphone, I felt like that transformed
that made a difference.
our experience.
Yeah.
Our really long and hilarious meetings where we get super just goofy and weird. Like maybe it's been too long since we've seen the light of day or something. And then just getting to know you and Rob and Gabe better over the years, spending time, Gabe popping in and popping out, showing Pengi and the different creatures that are populating his life at the time. Knowing that I have a weekly therapy meeting planned every week, because that's what it feels like. And just meeting so many people through the podcast that I never would have otherwise met, and getting to talk to the guests that we've talked to. There's so many that come to mind, Karima and Christine, and just so many people that I never would have met otherwise.
I agree. I mean, for me, the highs are definitely the relationships, the relationship that we've built and what we've built together out of it, the building something creatively together that is more than just one person on their own. And then that extends into the community, and what that community is together with all of the knowledge and all of the support is just, I never would have met those people. Like you said, I never would have known them. And that it feels incredible that they're these people who have the same values as us.
Yeah.
And they're working hard in their kitchen every day.
Yep.
Like we are. That just feels amazing. So in your own life, Andrea, what's happened over the last 5 years? How are you different from how you were 5 years ago?
It's kind of funny that you said this, because just a couple days ago, I think it was Molly on Discord was saying, I can see how much you've changed over the podcast, Andrea. And I was telling her, like, I'm amazed that she could notice, but I said, I know what's changed in me, but it's interesting that she could see it too. And it feels like there's a lot of things that when I started, they were like ideals of mine that I was trying to get to, that I look around and I'm like, wow, that is my way of life now. And there's always more. We're always striving and reaching, but it's interesting how many things in the beginning I thought I want to be that kind of person, and now that is what I'm doing. As far as tangible, like outside life things, a lot of the farm stuff, we were new here. We'd only been here for a year when we started recording, and now every year more has changed. We had a baby born here on the farm, our fourth child. I'm just getting clearer on what I want out of my ancestral sort of lifestyle, and I'm getting better at dropping the things I actually don't want in my life, but I didn't know how to drop before. And obviously, being world famous, I just can't go anywhere in town without people saying, exactly. "Oh, you're from the podcast." Yeah, I see you. You're really big in Belgium.
You just wait till you wear your sweatshirt and you'll be mobbed.
Oh, the paparazzi will be everywhere. And feeling like, really, maybe I am a weird person, but I'm not the only person who's over here throwing away holiday candy and trying not to buy tons of toys and saving garbage out of the kitchen to make broth with.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. 5 years
How about you?
It's an incredible amount of time.
I could start a list of things for you. It's a lot.
I feel like the biggest thing is we don't live in Italy anymore.
Yeah. It's a big shift.
And we're back in England, and now Rob's mum is living with us.
Multi-generational.
And, we don't have a big space here at all. Trust me, we have a 2.5 bedrooms. Gabriel's in the half, which is why I'm in a bedroom now. So yeah, that feels incredible. I no longer live in Italy, and it's a change in my identity.
Yeah,
because it was a big part of my identity being an English person living in Italy, and I'm no longer that person anymore. And that's taken a lot of shifting, and a lot of shifting that's still happening inside me. So it feels like the podcast has been the fundamental stability through the whole thing. This has been the same. My relationship with you has been maintained. Everything that we put out twice a month is the same, and that has all shifted around it the last few years. Gabriel was 6 when we started, and he's now 12.
I don't even think about that until I look at the pictures from the beginning. And somebody said that the other day. Who is it? When they went
Katie on Discord.
Yeah, Katie said, "Oh my gosh, little tiny Gabriel in that post, in those pictures." And yeah, she's
He
right.
really,
You forget until you go back and you're like, whoa,
he's small.
he's just a little guy.
Yeah. So he's just had his 12th, which is just, I mean,
Yeah.
he's like half the time that he's been alive, I've been doing this podcast virtually,
Wild.
It feels incredible. We're homeschooling him now, which we weren't back then, which is a huge shift. I've turned 50, which just feels incredible. Now I can't quite believe I'm 50, and that's happened, whilst still building this. What feels important to me over the last 5 years is now that I know what I'm doing is important. Before we started the podcast, I was just like, oh, it's just me doing it, it's just me in my little kitchen. Or I would say to Rob often, oh, what I'm doing is nothing special. I've just learned how to make rice sourdough bread, and I've just learned, but it doesn't matter, it's nothing special. And now I know that what I'm doing is important. What we do in the kitchen every day is important. And I get to tell you that. I get to talk to you about that. And I so believe in it. And that just feels like it's filled a part of me that I didn't know was deflated before, I feel like the process of doing the podcast and making decisions, I feel like my integrity has been tested over and over again. The way I work has been tested, letting go.
Offers
seeing,
from things that we turn down or
and
accept,
just don't feel right. I feel like, learning to work with you and the differences, and learning to see that the differences between us are really, they are what makes the podcast, because you would decide things or suggest things that I never would, and I suggest things that you never would.
For sure.
And so each of us is bringing things to the table that makes it more than just one of us, which feels incredible. There's a beauty in that. There's a real beauty in collaboration. And I hadn't collaborated with anyone at the levels that I've collaborated with you over the last 5 years is incredible, considering we've never met, and that feels really important. I've got so many more like minds that I never knew and never talked to and never got any joy from before.
Yeah.
And I really feel like I belong here. So that's really positive. And I'm writing a book, which is just feels incredible. I love to write. I love to research. It's when I feel most peaceful and happy, and it feels incredible to find this information and translate it through my love of being in the kitchen into something that's doable, and also share the stories around it. And that, I just was not doing that 5 years ago.
It shows in your writing too, I will say. And anybody who is considering the Discord, I will say Allison posts her recipes that she's working on in there for us all to test, and then people test them and come back with pictures and comments and questions on the measurements and all these sorts of things. Like, by the time the recipes go into this book, they will be handleable by anybody in any country, which is really awesome, because that's a significant amount. Yes, how could you make each one 20 times? But people are making them, and you've shared some of the chapters and portions of essays and things with us, which we've been able to read together as a group, which has been really fun. We will be doing a group reading when the book comes out.
I think so.
A group read
I won't be able to.
And we're going to get the author in there, and we're going to get her to comment.
Really? Okay, so let's just round up. I've got a couple of questions for you, Andrea, before we finish. Listeners, do go and check all the show notes for all the links to the wonderful 3 announcements, and thank you ever so much. So, Andrea, my first question for you is: what do you think is one thing the listener would never guess about the podcast?
I would never guess about the podcast. Probably how little we edit. Like Rob, we do not have him cut. He does not cut us up. He does not condense space. If we say things kind of weird, it just goes on the air. Yeah. And probably also how much we don't use our screens when we're recording.
Yeah.
How much we would like to learn to record like video, and it's kind of a hurdle we haven't made it past because we don't watch ourselves and we don't have cameras on each other when we're talking. It's just not part of our workflow. So that would probably surprise people.
I think I knew I was going to ask you this question. I didn't even know what my answer to it was, but I want to add something, which is I feel like the listener would never know that Rob and I talk about listeners and the responses and the emails and the Discord all the time. You know, whenever we get time to talk, maybe Rob's washing up in the kitchen, and like literally it happened today. Rob was washing up and I was making the risotto for lunch, and I brought down something to listen to, and I saw he was in there. I was like, oh, I'd like to just chat. You know, I'll stop my thing I'm listening to. And we just talk, and we talk about the podcast. We have ideas. We talk about something someone said to me. We talk about something in the Discord. We talk about something you've said, Andrea. We talk about, you know, what's happening on your farm, and I share that with him. It's become just a part of the fabric of our life. Our lives, which is incredible.
Gary says to me sometimes, you don't know it, but I'm out there plugging your podcast everywhere. You should be talking about it more. It's a really good podcast. And so anybody who meets him, they come over to me and like, wow, you have a podcast? I'm like, I see Gary got to you.
He's there before me.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing that I wanted to ask you was, what's one thing the listener would never guess about us?
You and me? Probably, maybe they do guess this from the very beginning of this episode, but it's how much we read each other's mind and we think and agree on the exact same thing. As you pointed out, we do have significant differences, both in work styles and in, you know, you're over in the UK/Europe and I'm in the US. So that colors the way we think and see things, which I think also adds to the texture of the podcast. And my sister was saying she feels like it keeps it from being super ethnocentric or biased in one direction. But also just like matters of opinion and taste, you know? Like we both said from the beginning, we're not compromising on the merch. We're not going to get some like crappy thing that neither of us is proud of putting our names on. We will rather have nothing, which we did for 5 years. We'd rather have nothing than inferior, which is probably indicative of how we run things in our kitchen and our life a lot too.
Yeah.
But
true.
like the font for the podcast, you know, we're like, rank these 12 fonts in order. And we had like the same order. Or, you know, rank which of the hand-drawn pots you want to, because of course we immediately knew, both of us were like, no AI, this will be a hand-drawn pot for our logo. Don't know if you guys know that Allison drew that pot. And then Rebecca cleaned it up for us to make it, you know, postable into graphics and things. But, you know, we both liked the same one and for the same reasons. And if you have a cold, I have a cold.
That is the weird thing. There always seems to be processing similar things at the same time, you know.
Yeah, you hurt your left arm, I hurt my right arm. It's bizarre how many things like
and
that.
I wonder whether, you know, back in like November 2020, when, you know, I'd been wanting to do a podcast for a long time, and I'd even recorded myself on my own and thought, I can't do this, feels yucky, rubbish, don't like it, need to find someone. And I remember complaining to Rob and saying, how am I going to find someone? This is ridiculous. I'm never going to be able to do this podcast. I'm not going to find anyone. Blah, blah, blah. And then I just had to leave it for a bit. And then, you know, when we did meet online, and I just kind of knew that you were the right person to ask. And Rob was really surprised. And I said, I'm going to ask this Andrea if she wants to do a podcast. And Rob was like, really? You sure? And I just feel like I knew. And I wonder whether this kind of sense of we're similar in a lot of ways, in an alignment in a lot of ways. I wonder whether somehow my cells or my aura or something just kind of knew that.
Yeah.
You know, and therefore was drawn to you in a way that enabled me to feel confident asking you, you know?
I don't know what it was. Because it's not like we'd been talking online for hours and days and had miles of text between us actually at that point.
No.
And I remember thinking about it and just feeling how right it felt for me. And then we started like immediately. Yeah. And then Rob had to draw me a literal picture of how we were getting
I remember that.
I still had that picture.
Put this cable in here and then plug that in there.
The little people drawing like with the headphones were so... It was like something out of a children's illustrated book or something, but the illustrated podcasting guide or something.
For Andrea.
But especially for me.
Cool. Okay, we've been talking for a long long time.
5 years?
No, I don't just mean 5 years. I mean just now.
Right.
So probably we should stop.
Okay.
And thank you very much for this episode. And thank you to all the listeners. And take those 3 announcements and do with them what feels right to you. And I'm excited to see where we go from here.
Thanks all. Bye, Alison.
Cool. Bye. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can join our community. Choose from various levels depending on your budget. Take a look at what we offer at ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/join. You can sponsor an episode or check out our beautiful sustainable merchandise at ancestralkitchenpodcast.com/merch. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And if you know someone who would love our show, tell them about us. Thank you. You are helping bring ancestral food into modern kitchens, changing the world one plate at a time.